Hello, welcome. We are continuing with Genesis chapter 14. But before we do, what I'd like to say is if you find value in the content, if you could hit the like and subscribe button or even comment on the videos if you found something that you really liked, that would help the YouTube algorithm to help reach more people and hopefully build them up in the process. So chapter 14, then the Lord said to Moses, "Tell the people of Israel to turn back and then camp in front of Pihahiroth, between Migdol and the sea, in front of Baal Zephon. You shall encamp facing it by the sea. For Pharaoh will say of the people of Israel, they are wandering in the land. The wilderness has shut them in. And I will harden Pharaoh's heart, and he will pursue them. And I will get glory over Pharaoh and all his host. And the Egyptians shall know that I am the Lord." And they did so. What I find interesting here is we can see that the Lord is about to harden the Pharaoh's heart again. And why it's interesting is, again, we see that it's not that the heart of the Pharaoh is hardened. As we talked about it before, it's not that the Pharaoh didn't have a choice in the matter. It's more like God strengthened in his already existing will. The other thing is, God foreknew that the people of Egypt will think that just because the people are in a certain position, it means that they are defenseless, not recalling the signs and wonders he did in the land of Egypt. When the king of Egypt was told that the people had fled, the mind of Pharaoh and his servants was changed towards the people. And they said, "What is this we have done, that we have let Israel go from serving us?" So he made ready his chariot and took his army with him, and took 600 chosen chariots and all the other chariots of Egypt with officers all over all of them. How strange it is that when we are in a given situation, we make certain choices which we think are the most fitting choices in those given circumstances. But when the circumstances change, suddenly we don't think that those choices were the best choices. And this is what happened here. Even though they saw, or they sort of forgot. If you look, and we're going to see later on that it's so easy to look back and view events in the past and see them in a different light and thinking that, oh, things weren't that bad. Why did I come to this conclusion, or why did I make the choice I made? We will see how everything's going to unfold. And the Lord hardened the heart of Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and he pursued the people of Israel while the people of Israel were going out defiantly. The Egyptians pursued them, all Pharaoh's horses and chariots, and his horsemen and his army, and overtook them and camped by the sea, by Pihahiroth, in front of Baal Zephon. When Pharaoh drew near, the people of Israel lifted up their eyes, and behold, the Egyptians were marching after them, and they feared greatly. And the people of Israel cried out to the Lord. They said to Moses, "Is it because there are no graves in Egypt that you have taken us away to die in the wilderness? What have you done to us in bringing us out of Egypt? It is not what we said to you in Egypt. Leave us alone that we may serve the Egyptians. For it would have been better for us to serve the Egyptians than to die in the wilderness." And Moses said to the people, "Fear not, stand firm, and see the salvation of the Lord, which he will work for you today. For the Egyptians whom you see today you shall never see again. And the Lord will fight for you, and you have only to be silent." So, when we have left Egypt, the bondage of sin, sometimes things are going to be difficult. And it is so easy to look back the times we spent in bondage and see them in a different, more favorable light. instead of looking ahead and trusting the Lord. And I think one of the reasons is because it's easy to see the past, but you can't see the future. So we have to be careful there when we are in a bad situation. We are not trying to, and I know it's easy. I know it's really easy. All it takes is not praying for or not reading for a Bible for a couple of days and you forgot about the Lord. If your walk is not that deep with the Lord, your relationship is not that great. You don't pray for a couple of days, or you don't read the Bible, or you don't worship God. It's so easy to fall away from the Lord, not entirely, but just to put a little distance between you two. That it is extremely easy to look back and say that, oh, my life wasn't that bad when I wasn't part of the Lord's family. But it's not the case. That's all. We must not think that. And also, when we're looking at the dangers we are facing, again, if your relationship is not there with the Lord, if you're not cultivating it, again, it's really difficult to stand firm in your faith. And it makes sense because we have a relationship with God. And a relationship depends on how you're cultivating the relationship. And imagine you have a husband, a wife, kids. And imagine if you're in the same household, but you don't talk for a couple of days. That would cause a big strain in the relationship. You would just ignore them. You would feel that there's a problem there. And it's the same with the Lord. If you don't build that relationship or try to at least maintain the relationship, you will see it and you will feel it. You will react to things differently. But I think the most important verse here is verse 13, when Moses says, "Fear not, stand firm, and see the salvation of the Lord, which he will work for you today." And then what does Moses say? The Lord will fight for you. You have only to be silent. Which means salvation is from the Lord, is of the Lord. He's the one who works out your salvation. And what you have to do is nothing. I read it once that the only thing you can bring to your salvation is your sin. Everything else has been done by the Lord. Amen.